Francisco 49ers deep in the heart. Like Joe Montana in the corner, D. Clark. Garrison Hurst, stiff farm going 99. Don't get it twisted, one and all with prime time.
This is 49er Faithful UK show, and that was a lot of fun. It was week 6, and the Niners moved to 3-3 with a Thursday night football win in Seattle. An imperfect but better performance on both sides of the ball sends the Hawks back to 3-3 and sends the Niners top of the NFC West. A good performance from our rookies, but more importantly, a good performance from some of our boldies. I'm Gareth Ellis, and I'm joined by Lee Gowland.
Hey, fellas.
And Naji Karar.
Hello, everyone.
It is good to see
Fantastic
you.
Friday.
It's fantastic
Friday.
Fantastic
like
victory Friday. I will. Full disclosure, I didn't actually stay up and watch the game. I know. I watched it in 40 first thing this morning. We might cover it later, but how squeaky were the bums in that third quarter as a 20-point lead seemed to evaporate, and the
squeaky.
No, not again.
Pretty squeaky,
yeah.
Very after dark squeaky. Definitely.
That's the perfect way to say that, because I was just about to say about the thread, and there was a lot of people in the thread, including myself, who were very nervous during that quarter.
Yeah, no,
very
I was too.
Indeed.
And again, I like getting back to it, but if last night was a very good lesson on momentum and what it can do to a team, any team, even a bad one.
Yeah.
Momentum is very important when you've got it. Trying to keep it is more important sometimes than lose to score or what. It's momentum managing.
Have you got some talking points for me from the game?
I do.
Good.
Yeah. Rookies rule the roost.
Rookies rule the roost. I like that.
See what I did there?
Yeah.
Debo loves Seattle. And Fred looks back to his normal, all-pro, unbelievable, superhuman self.
He does.
Very good. Very, very good.
Naji, what have you got for us?
The same. We have to talk about our rookies. That was a fantastic performance by them. Brock is him / Happy Birthday George. I think those two had a cracking game yesterday. And my last talking point is when is the trade deadline again? Because we're gonna need
3 weeks' time.
Yeah, we're gonna need some players. Loads of injuries again. So
yeah, interesting.
Sorry to be a downer.
Interesting. I've got big plays and rhythm. I've got rookies once again, and finally more of a plea really than the talking point, which is please stop making me put special teams as a talking point every single week. Though props to Matt right down the middle, so got to be mentioned. Let's start with rookies. We've all got rookies. Lee.
Yeah, so I think I'll start with Ronaldo Green. Leave
my player
Guerrero.
watch.
Leave Guerrero to Naji. Ronaldo Green was very impressive. When I found out Moody wasn't playing, Mooney Ward wasn't playing.
Easy to do.
Yeah, I started to get nervous. I thought, well, we're going to chuck in a rookie here. He might get absolutely smoked, especially up in Seattle in Lumen, which is quite loud when the Seattle fans get behind the team. Which they appear they haven't for the last couple of seasons. So I was very nervous, but I thought he played out of his skin. He played a lot better than I could ever imagine him playing. I think the interception in the first half, I think that set the tone for the game. Getting the momentum on that very first drive where they were marching down the field, let's face it, to get 7 points. I thought that particular interception and that play probably did change the whole outlook of the game, and it put us on the front foot.
I agree.
I agree.
What are your thoughts on Ronaldo Green?
I thought he was excellent, considering the challenge, considering who he had to go against.
Yeah.
As much as I always say, and I will always say it and still say it, I don't think DK Metcalf is a good wide receiver. He's not an easy receiver to cover. You can't give him anything, otherwise he will make play. I do think he is easy to defend against. He's not that sharp of a route runner, but he's big and he's strong and he's fast. So that's a challenge in itself. and he went against him quite a bit, I think. Number 0, very bold to start with, to wear that number, kind of puts a target on your back, I think. Easy to recognize. Yeah, no, I thought he was very excellent, especially, I assume he probably would have been told very last minute that he was starting. We didn't know about Mooney at all until I've basically put the broadcast on, and I was just like, oh, he's on the sideline, not even padded. What is going on? So yeah, no, I think he played excellent, as well as you could have expected from a rookie. A couple of mistakes here and there, but I think he's, if he can put more games like this and get better as he goes along, another very good draft pick in the making, potentially. It's very early to say so, but yeah, very happy with Ronaldo Green, indeed.
Yeah, very happy with my player pick. I thought it might be a little bit later into the season before we saw much of him. Obviously, Mooney Ward being out made an opening. I think the interception was excellent. It wasn't one of those just you're lucky with a tip ball or a badly overthrown ball. He read the quarterback and jumped the route. And again, that's the confidence to just go, no, I'll just snick in front of DK and I'll just take that. And he took it like the receiver taking the ball. It was just like in stride. I'll have that, and off I go. Some good tackles. I think he was there. There was close. He was close to a tackle for loss. I think on a run play, or at least he stuffed somebody fairly early.
Yeah, he drew the flag on on an outside run play. He had contain, and that was excellently played. He did exactly what he needed to do to draw the foul. Basically, if the guy didn't hold him, he would have made the tackle, I would imagine. So yeah, excellent job there.
Yeah, a good performance. Bodes well, doesn't it? We thought corner might be somewhere where we struggle with a bit of depth. It's possibly, we'll come on to the injuries later, but it's good to see the rookies stepping up, even though they're perhaps getting an opportunity that wasn't planned. Speaking of which, Isaac Garendo, take it away, Najee.
I'm going to put this on a spin. I thought Patrick Taylor looked better, a lot better than Garendo.
He's not a rookie, though.
Yeah, true. But until the 70-yard, we basically settled the game. I thought Garendo was struggling a little bit. He is getting better by the week, I will say this. You can see the thought process behind his runs, and he's slowly getting to grips with where he needs to go. When do you put your foot down and just go for it? When do you read the crease and cut back? It's not an easy thing to do, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of reps. That's the problem with being a running back, in my opinion, anyway. Is that you can know the play, you can watch it on film and know exactly where to go and how to attack it. But until you get the rep at full speed, it's very different. Your brain doesn't, it's not X's and O's anymore. And it's the more reps you get, the more vision you acquire. The game slows down. I know it's a cliche, but it's true. And he's getting there. Yeah, it was much, much better. And as soon as everybody got tired and he got the slight crease, he took it and put the game on his back. And it was an amazing run. From Garendo, which I think is his nickname now. Yeah, it's good to see. It's good to see that Kyle can keep churning out these guys, and it's clearly a system thing. I know we trying to get away from Brock saying it's a system QB. There's definitely a system running back thing with Kyle. We've had so many now. I think it's safe to say, but people still have been up and down in that system. Hopefully, it can keep going up. But Patrick Taylor, I thought, was excellent. Really, when Mason got injured, went in there and had some really decisive run that kept us ahead of the chains and kept us in the game. Where Garendo sometimes gets stuffed at the line of scrimmage and doesn't really read it properly. So it's good. It's good. We're gonna need people and bodies. Clearly, it's gonna be one of those seasons where people are coming down every game. So yeah, it's good to see. It's good to see. But yeah, I mean, that's 70 yards. I was on my feet at 4 a.m. something, and then Juice took it away from him. But
did he slide, or was it the tackle?
He did slide.
He's claiming the slide.
He did not slide.
He slid.
He did not. He got his ankles tapped. and it took him down.
I don't think so. I think he slid. I think he felt the defender and he slid down to just make sure he had the ball secure. I'm pretty sure he did.
See, I can't understand why he would do that, because that would have put us
Kills the clock.
3 scores up.
Yeah,
He
but
thought
you're at least going to get a field goal.
he thought the sidelines were screaming at him to do it. That's what he said afterwards, because people asked about it. So in the locker room, he's saying, I thought people were yelling at me. Because did you hear what Debo said? Debo was like, why are you looking at the sidelines? Just put your head down and run. I wouldn't have slid. But he claims that he slid because he thought he was being instructed to.
I think it was smart. He won the game. If he doesn't slide scores, there's still a minute 40 at that time. Onside kick, all shenanigans. You don't know what happens. I think it's really smart. And we killed something like 40 seconds and scored anyway. Yeah. So it's exactly what you got to do. And I know no one would do it.
He was doing it to rob me of my prediction.
Yeah,
thanks,
right.
Isaac. I'll remember.
Well, I do know there's one particular person who's quite important who agrees with me and says he didn't slide, and that was Kyle Shanahan.
Oh, okay.
He mentioned it in his post-game interview. He said, right. I'm not so sure he did slide. I think he got tapped at the back.
He definitely got tapped, but whether he felt, right, okay, now's the time to go down with the tap.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right, because the tap wasn't that strong to take him down.
No, it was a very gentle.
Yeah, I'd be a bit worried if that tap did actually take him down, to be fair.
It looks like it does look like he goes down controlled rather than potentially either spill the ball or run out of bounds. So I think he just went, no, I'll kill it here. If no one had tapped him, he would have probably run it in. But I think when he got tapped, he just went, no, I'll go down.
Yeah. So keep the clock running and don't lose the ball. Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of bold predictions, Malik Mustafa, Najee.
Yes, called a pick 6, to be fair, but called a pick nonetheless. I'm taking the credit because why not? I can. We're on the show. Nobody can say anything else. It's not live. Very happy with Mustafa's progress. Unfortunately, didn't play the second half due to an ankle injury. Hopefully, it's not too bad. But the fact that he didn't come back and was out pretty quick, it's probably some kind of sprain, I would imagine. Hopefully, it's nothing worse than that. But yeah, he's been playing pretty awesome and a lot more secure tackle I saw on yesterday night. He had a tendency of launching himself at people and missing. He didn't do that. He just really wrapped up and nailed Tyler Lockett, was it, on a tackle? They kind of nailed each other. It was a bit rough, but that was a good big hit tackle. Very happy. It's 6 games in, and he's getting a pick. What more do you want? Yeah. Next time, hopefully, it runs in when I call for it.
I think.
I was just about to say, I was impressed with Mustafa. Disappointed when he did go out injured.
Yeah.
And as you've alluded to before, injuries are looking to be key at the moment. The bye week can't come soon enough. But obviously, we've got 2 big games before that.
Yep.
Yeah.
For what I have seen of Mustafa, he has, as you said, made a few mistakes and whiffed on a few tackles. But I can't remember a time where he's looked completely sort of lost. He's there thinking, "Where's my man? What am I supposed to do?" So that's a good sign, and hopefully he will be back soon. A rookie that is worth mentioning, I think, will tie it in with your player watch, Lee. Pooney, the Punisher. A lot of those run yards are off the back of Pooney, aren't they?
They are. So actually, I'm glad you mentioned that. Let me quickly.
Got the graphics.
Yeah.
The people that watch online. Look at that.
We are more and more going to the right-hand side of the line, which is really interesting, considering we've got Trent Williams over on the left.
We did lose Banks halfway through the.
We did.
Was it the third or something like that? So that doesn't help. But
didn't he come back in though?
I'm not sure he did. I think Buffett played the rest of the game.
Right.
He was cramping up, and it's the calf that we can talk about it injuries in a bit, but I think it's the calf that's been bothering him all season. So it's clearly some underlying issues there.
Yeah, so
I mean, so this is what I was saying though. If you take the 72 yards, 73-yard run, doesn't look that great.
no.
It's
So I
nine
was going to
carries for
mention
20
that.
yards. It's
Yeah, I agreed with what you said, Najee. He's a little bit better than he has been previous weeks. I think I
Yes.
made a quip on one of the shows saying
You did.
the next words after Guerrero has the ball, I expect to hear, has been stopped at the line of scrimmage. But yesterday he was making some progress. You're only talking 2 or 3 yards each run, but he was getting 2 or 3 yards, and that is important. So he's starting to see little gaps open up to get a few yards, which is what we need, just to get to that point where a third down is third and short. And like you said, if it wasn't for that large run at the end, then it probably would look fairly sad, stats wise. But I think you could see some progression from him. And that's the pleasing thing. I'm not expecting any miracles from him. To be honest, I didn't expect him to play much at all this season. He's been put in a position where he's had to play due to injuries. And I think hopefully that'll bear fruit in the next few weeks.
Mm-hmm. I think he's one of those home run hitter type of people that follow baseball. It's basically just gonna hit home runs or nothing. It's just gonna strike out or hit home runs. So yeah, I think that's the kind of guy he seems to be. Hopefully, he can evolve into something a little bit better than now and more all around with having the ability to home run it. But yeah, no, improvement is good. Again, it's only 6 games. It's it's not a lot. That's not a lot of games.
No. Let's move off. Any more rookies you want to mention? I think we've covered pretty much everybody. Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah.
Didn't who recovered the fumble?
Darrell Luter. I think it's his second year though, isn't it?
It is a second. Yes, that's
It
right.
is.
That's right. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
But still, good special team play.
Absolutely. Let's go to one of yours, Najee. Brock. You had Brock and George mixed in together. I think you're trying to steal 4 for the price of 3.
yeah, I did. I just thought Brock had just a typical Brock game, I guess. I know we're kind of very high on him, but I thought he was very good. The first touchdown to kill is an absolute beauty. That ball could not be placed any better. Threw an absolute dart on a rope in the tiniest of window. And then George did the rest. That was beautiful. That's nice to see. And when those two are on the same page like they were yesterday, it's just really, really hard to stop. And you sprinkle a bit of Ayuk when we need to, and then obviously the big pass to Debo when you need to. Which again, he's getting hit when he throws that ball and he's hanging in the pocket. And I know we've been talking about him escaping the pocket a little bit too soon. On that play, he stayed there and stared it down and threw a perfect ball where only Debo could get it. I just this is why our red zone woes are gonna get better going through Brock. I think if Brock plays better, it's all gonna go away in an instant. And yesterday he showed what he's capable of when the team is momentum is a bit shaky, and then you just delivers a dart in for the second touchdown to George. It was beautiful to see, and I don't know. In that stadium, watching ball play, he's 3-0 in that stadium. It's beautiful. Like how we've struggled so many years to win anything in that stadium, and he's 3-0, and he doesn't bite an eyelid at the noise. Like that's another thing. He was poised the whole game. It was loud. It was loud. Lee called it on the preview. The 12 were at it. The stadium was full, and it's not an easy environment to play football. And I thought he played really, really well. Put the team on his back again and carried us to victory. So thank you, Brock. It's just a joy to watch him play. We're so lucky and thankful to have him.
So interestingly, just going back to the stadium, it's not really related to the stadium, but what I did notice was Phoebe Schechter was there. So she was there with touchdown trips. Yeah.
All right. Very nice. Very nice. Is she a Seahawks fan?
No, I don't know.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, I think she's got more of an affiliation to the Bills off when she was wide receivers coach there.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, that
Interesting.
stadium.
I did hear the Niners chant so towards the end. I think late in the fourth, if you watch the broadcast again, you can hear "Let's go Niners." So there was
Right.
quite a few Niner fans. I think.
Oh, there
Yeah,
was.
it was pretty
Yeah.
good. Yeah, pretty good
Yeah.
turnout again from the
Travel well.
faithful. Yeah,
And it's a
Very
great place to go and visit, to be honest.
yeah. I should have gone when I was there. It was Rams Seahawks though, and it was very expensive. So I just went nah.
Yeah.
Brock, tell us about it.
Let's say, am I still in the recording room? I've got a record.
You are indeed. You are.
I've
are
got
indeed.
recording error. My StreamYard has lit up like a Christmas tree with error messages. No network
Oh, dear.
connection.
No, you're
and no
still
recording.
here. Yeah.
Well, there we go. I will crack on then, or there's going to be a big blank bit in the podcast, for which we apologise. Yeah, Brock. It was one of the things that I talked about. The rhythm. I think watching the game in 40, you sometimes perhaps can see that a little bit more than the stop-start, where we seem to have a bit more stringing plays together. We obviously put some long drives together. Red zone, maybe still a little bit of an issue early on with kicking the field goals. But to me, we seem to be a little bit more in rhythm. I think, got to say, good performance across the O-line. I think obviously not perfect, but given the fact that we have given the O-line a little bit of flack, I think they have been better, certainly the last couple of weeks, and it was good to see a big play again with the pass to Debo. I still don't quite know what the covering safety was trying to do, who just sort of flew behind him. But I thought it was quite entertaining. So yeah, good to see Brock. I think Brock's, the stats aren't looking good, but I think that's not really showing up what we're seeing. We're seeing a quarterback in complete control of an offense, and I think we have seen an offense that hasn't been firing on all cylinders. And I think Shanahan hasn't been necessarily in his rhythm as well during the games. And I think the red zone worries red zone problems have been part of that. But good to see those big plays, and yeah, good to see George get a couple of those red zone touchdowns. Debo, you mentioned, unless you want to say anything more about Broccoli, Debo was on your list.
Debo, he seems to love playing against Seattle because every time we play against them, he has a great game. And knowing that, I'm a bit disappointed I didn't go for Debo boldly rather than Ayuk and Jennings. But yeah,
you probably would have jinxed him.
More than likely. I mean, at the back of my mind, I'm probably thinking that myself, which is why I didn't go for him. But yeah, every time he plays against Seattle, he has a really good game. I think he relishes playing against them because of some of the stuff that DK Metcalf comes out and says. And I'm not talking about some of the fake news that was posted where he was saying that the 49ers defense was crap. I mean, some of the other stuff that he does actually say, and it's still out there, and you can read it. And I think he likes to go up against the opposing wide receiver and put more stats on the board, more yards, and it does help him to play out of his skin. And I thought he had a really good game. That pass from Brock. So I had to watch that a couple of times because, like you, Gareth, it left me wondering, what was the safety trying to do? Because he didn't go in front of him, did he? He did actually go behind him.
No, he literally flew behind him.
Yeah. So I don't know if he was just expecting Debo to miss it and it dropped behind him. But I think Debo kind of
broke his route probably a bit earlier. I wonder if Brock maybe underthrew it a touch.
I think he did.
He was probably trying to hit him on the sideline or as a back shoulder, and he kind of didn't put it exactly where he needed to, maybe. And then Debo kind of broke in, and then the safety is full speed at that point. He ain't changing direction at 20 miles an hour. So then you just try and throw yourself at, and hopefully you clip Debo and he falls on the ground, kind of thing. I think that's probably what happened. I would imagine the old 22 will tell you a lot. I would imagine, see how far the safety comes from.
It's either that or it is a great play from Debo that he's been aware of it, and rather than letting the ball drop down to him, he's gone up and he stepped forward and high pointed it, because I think I do recall he's quite high. He's caught it quite high above his head and lands.
Yeah.
The guy goes flying behind him and he just trundles in. Great to see. Great to see.
You know, for aspiring wide receivers listening to this, just go and watch this play and the DK Metcalf drop early in the first half. This is exactly the polar opposite of what you got to do and what not to do. High point the ball. No one else can contest it. If you just wait for it to land in your lap, then every chance for the corner to put their hand in there, nudge it out. High point the ball. Always high point the ball. Highest you can get it.
So what I was very surprised to find out was his touchdown last night was only his 20th touchdown in his career.
20th? Is that it?
Receiving, yeah.
Yeah, receiving.
Oh, receiving.
So, receiving 20th.
He did have
because
that
now he's the very first player in history to have 20 rushing and 20 receiving touchdowns.
Right, there we go.
First wide receiver in history.
Sorry, what? Yeah.
Yeah, plenty of running backs, I think, have done 20.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. Loads of screens. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, that's pretty good. I mean, it just misses too many games, doesn't it? That's the problem. You would have probably hit that a year or two ago if he didn't miss that much time. That's interesting. I mean, so many targets and reaches, you know. We didn't really need Ayuk. And we still scored 36 points. Yeah. Or Jennings. Jennings the first.
Yeah, quite a game, but good to see George and Debo come up with some big plays, and good to see everyone contributed. So
it was definitely a team win.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, Juice was there as well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Everyone loves
we had some Juice, some Kittle, some Ayuk, Jennings, Debo.
Juice touchdowns. They're the best.
Yeah.
Shall we? Let's have a look on the other side of the ball. You've mentioned a guy called Fred Warner, I think, Lee. Is he good at football?
He's not bad. He's not bad,
is he?
Yeah. So he looked as though he's back to normal. So last week, I am convinced last week there was something not quite right, because he didn't look right last week.
He wasn't 100%. I think he was still injured from the Rams game.
Whereas last night, he looked as though he was back to his normal self. And not only that, I think looking at the defense as a whole, it was a much improved performance because the tackling was on point. They actually looked organised. They knew what they were doing. Whereas I think the previous couple of weeks, not the previous couple of weeks, but the two previous divisional games, so the Rams and the Cardinals, they just looked out of sorts. They looked like headless chickens. Whereas we did look as though we were an organised defence, which was good to see. And obviously Fred led that. And I think the difference between last week and this week, like I said, it wasn't just Fred, the way he was moving about the field, you could notice against the Cardinals. But he seemed to be very quiet as well. He was very vocal on the field again last night.
Yeah, it was. It was back to being himself. It definitely a big change, and you can tell the energy around the defense is very different. Maybe just, with Mooney out and all the injuries, it felt like he had to put a little bit extra. He always finds that extra gear, that extra level, and maybe he still isn't 100%, but definitely didn't show last night. He was back to his old self. First ballot Fred is his new nickname, I think. There's no way he doesn't make it to the Hall of Fame if he carries on playing however long he's going to play. But yeah, no, it's good to see, especially if we want to put a bit of a downer on this, I genuinely think that Devondre Campbell should be cut, potentially just benched.
Thank you. I am sat here thinking the same thing, Najee.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable how bad he is and how many missed tackles he makes, and the defense just makes him look better than he is, which is very scary because he looks horrible.
Yeah.
But he can't cover, he can't really tackle properly, he can't really run stop, which is what's supposed to be good at. He doesn't apply pressure, which he used to do when he was at Green Bay. It's just, what are we doing? Just put D Winters, let him learn. I thought D actually went, I think he had a series in the third, maybe the fourth, early in the fourth, and I thought he looked better straight away. Just there's more energy, there's more speed. I can pardon the mistake from D Winters' second year, Like Devondre Campbell, what are we doing? Can we have Dre back, please? It's just
hopefully
crazy.
Hopefully Dre will be back.
soon.
So,
Yeah.
some good points there, I think. A more solid defence. I think I've seen a few people say there's still some worries, but I think in that game they got the stops when we needed to.
Yeah.
They didn't let that momentum build too much for the Seahawks in that third quarter. I think they were able to stop them after the sort of kick return touchdown and the score. And
Yeah.
even more impressive, I think, given the fact that there were rookies starting, not just contributing the game, but rookies in there for the majority of the snaps, in terms of it being Malik Mustafa and Ricardo Green. So, a good defensive performance. I thought,
Yeah.
things seem to be coming together slightly better, which is more than we can say about special teams. Yeah.
I will just, before we move on,
Go on
I
then.
just
Yeah,
want to say,
anything to delay special teams.
yeah, I know, right? We don't want to talk about special team. I thought Sorensen's plan, Brandon Staley, whoever is the DC, no one actually knows. Let's say Sorensen, because that's what it says on his contract. I thought the plan was really good. We clearly had the plan to stop them from running and put the ball into Gino's hand and let him try and beat us, which we knew was a recipe for disaster. We'd called it on the preview. Gino is not good, very streaky. He can be good sometimes, but very streaky. And we made him look very stupid on numerous occasions, which was a delight to watch. But I thought the plan was really good, and we stuck to it. We adjusted a little bit in the second half when they started hammering out, playing a little bit more zone. But I just liked it. Kudos to Malik Collins. I thought had a really good game in the middle. So yeah, because we losing Armstead and Hargrave, which was the bread and butter of what this defense was all about, like D tackles and D line. Basically, just having Bosa, who had a career night again.
Yeah.
I think I saw a stat earlier. He
14
created something like
pressures,
14 pressures, which is the highest since 2019.
which was
And
also
the
Nick
second
Bosa.
guy, it was Nick Bosa. Yeah, that's right. So that's really impressive. No sacks, but it doesn't really matter at this point. So no, I just like, as you said, I think it was a more full performance from the entire defense, and everybody played really, really well. Even Jair Brown played pretty well.
Yeah.
And it was a kind of a complete defense, apart from Devondre Campbell. I think we could use somebody better, but even Leonard Floyd, I thought, played better.
Yeah,
Which says a lot.
I have been a bit disappointed with Floyd's production so far, given that Bosa's going to get the attention. I don't think Collins has had a bad game for us. I don't know that he's had a bad quarter for us so far. He's doing that dirty, unheralded job. That's just that solid foundation for the defense. I thought George Odom seemed to make a few plays where he came in for cover. He looked pretty good. And as you said, Bosa, I think, shame you don't get the sacks, but several of Gino's errant throws, including the interception to Green, I think were because Bosa was right down his neck. And that's what you got. You might say, well, pressures don't mean anything. It's sacks that count. They do. And if you're getting them consistently, you just stop your opponent's offense from operating.
Yeah, absolutely. Almost had a fumble as well. It was this close to get one.
Yeah. There we go. Lee, since you haven't spoken, you can start us off on special teams.
Oh, God. That's like a hospital pass. So we don't seem to be improving at all. We've given up a big player there. And I'm going to go back to what I've been saying for weeks now, ever since Sammy Womack was good. Sammy Womack was one of our better players on special teams. I always had confidence that if he was on the field on special teams, we were going to stop the runner coming back, because he was so quick at getting down there to the run. And it was ironic, really, because, I mean, one of the rumours why he was cut was because he was afraid to tackle. He wasn't the physical type of corner that Shanahan likes.
I can't see that.
Like I said, it was a rumour. I don't know how true that is, but he seemed to do okay when he was on special teams, barreling down to the kick returner. So, yeah, I definitely think we're missing somebody like that.
Not that you're still
who can
bitter.
actually lead. No, not at all. Not at all,
Yeah,
especially when I've seen him play for the Colts and some of the
yeah, it's
passes
the
he's
same, isn't
defended.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder if there was a culture problem. Maybe he wasn't the right guy for the locker room. Who knows, right?
Possibly.
What
Yeah.
happens behind closed door in the cantina and during the meetings? Who knows, indeed. Yeah, it's a shame. Definitely, that play just swung the game right on its head. With my prediction was in. Uh, if we just played the same game again, I would have been right. I would have been bang on ish, 32-6. And yeah, it just snapped the game, gave them full momentum, full confidence to try and get back into it and win this game. And, a couple of bad play on offense, and all of a sudden it's a one-score game. It's the NFL. You just cannot allow a play like this, and it's just so hard to see where the problem is. That's what's scary with special team. There isn't an easy fix here.
There was some
Yeah,
there were some bad whiffs. I think we
there
talked
was some
about
bad
this
whiffs.
with the new kickoff rules in
It was going to
pre-season.
happen.
That
Yes.
people are either stuffed for very little or they're gone. And
Yeah.
as you've seen, it's come to pass, unfortunately. And I think it's those first guys, the Sammy Womack, the gunners. It's all on them, really. If they whiff, then I think everybody else is in difficulty just because of the way that everybody's lined up so close to each other. It's difficult to then get any cover because you're all being blocked. So you're all blocked out of it.
So just to stick with Sammy Womack and go back to my bitterness, he's the 6th best ranked cornerback in the league this year.
Is he? Wow. Crazy.
He's absolutely balling out at Indianapolis.
Yes, it's the FC South, so yeah.
Well, yeah.
North. Anyway, I actually, up to that point, I thought special teams were, again, just like last week, with the Leno touchdown, gonna actually improve. We did get a fumble recovery on the kick return, on a punt. I can't remember. Tatum Bethan, one of our rookies, again telling the rookies having a good game. Another 7-rounder, I think, 7th round pick. Recovered that ball out of Laviska Chanel. So that was really good. And right, as you say, right down the middle. Quite like that. That's a really good nickname. Was on point, 3 for 3. Seemed to be pretty comfortable as well back there. There was it didn't look awkward or weird. It felt like he'd been here for a long time until, again, he had to make a tackle, and he must be in a lot of pain. That didn't look comfortable at all today.
Yeah. It's, please don't.
Yeah. Such. But that leads us into, again, I think if we take that one play, it's one play. It happens. It's football. We did get actually 2 turnovers on special team. That was definitely the second one. Definitely to touch his hand. If we want to quickly talk about, I hate talking
everyone
about
else.
refs.
Everyone else is. We don't usually talk about the refs, but this isn't so much about the refs.
That's not just. Yeah, that's not.
It
just
wasn't
refs,
the refs as so much as somebody. We need to have a whip round so the NFL can afford another TV in their New York office, because clearly they must be short of a few quid.
So
send your
what was
donation
the
to Richard
given?
Goodell. So the excuse given was that the New York office, the replay control in New York, did not get the angle that showed the hand. The one that we got, that was clearly the hand touching the ball.
Everyone watching it saw. The only people on the planet who didn't were in the little booth.
They didn't get it. They got the side view kind of high up where you can't really see whether the ball is touched or not. It wasn't clear enough for them to overturn it. But it's crazy that surely the video they get comes from Amazon in this case, and somebody should be able to go, hang on a second, we've got a better angle and it's very clear what's going on. I'm not going to say what's going on. But yeah, so they didn't get it, and they probably rushed it as well, I would imagine. If they'd waited a little bit, they would have had more angles to watch. But that's just not. It took us 70 yards. I mean, we got the pick on the very next possession, I think.
It's good that we can laugh about this if if somebody
Yes,
loses a
yes,
game
absolutely.
or someone loses a playoff game because we're all watching a
Yeah.
feed from the streamer who's got that TV game rights, and the people in
And
the booth can't see it, that
and
somebody
it's not
somewhere's dropped the ball. Pardon the
this
pun.
isn't like it's Sunday and New York has to watch 6 or 7 games being played at the same time. There was one game. This is just TNF. There's nothing else to do. All the cameras, all the eyes, all the nation is watching one game. How do you get this wrong? I do not understand, but
So
I'm sure
I
questions
might
will
be
be
wrong
asked.
here, but I know it was Amazon Prime that had the game, the rights to show it live. They don't do anything as far as recording is concerned. It's all done by the NFL, and the NFL pipe that feed out to whichever broadcaster has the right to show that feed.
Right,
So it's
okay.
always the NFL doing the recording at every single game.
Well, no, because CBS and Fox, they always do our Thanksgiving. They thank their crew and they've got their truck and their
Yes,
cameras and stuff. But
that's right. So
surely
they'll have their cameras there, but
Amazon.
the actual game itself, I believe, my understanding is that is always filmed by the NFL, and the NFL give the broadcaster complete access to that, so they can show whatever they want.
Okay.
But the actual game,
that's even worse then.
Yes.
That is actually even worse that they didn't have. I mean, it was so clear, so evident. Yeah. Hopefully it gets corrected. Again, as you say, Gareth, we can kind of joke about it, but had we lost because we didn't get that ball on the 30 or 25, which we would have been able to punch it in or even just get 3 points out of it, that would have definitely irked a lot of people the wrong way. But questions need to be asked. This cannot happen, especially in a playoff game. You're right.
And one other good special teams play, I think, may have even been in the fourth quarter. Mitch Wisnowski punt, which was down at about the 3-yard line by friend of the show, Chris Conley, I think.
Yes, that's right.
Who's always seems to be there or thereabouts on special
he's a good gunner
plays as well. So he's fast.
He's a good gunner. He's been playing really well. I mean, Wish. We've talked about Wish for a long time. Best fourth round pick ever.
Yeah. Shall we talk about the trade deadline, which was your final point, Nadji?
Yes,
and injuries, I think, two of them are.
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't really leave Seattle unscathed. Jordan Mason with the shoulder, probably, I don't know what it would be, some kind of strain on whatever the shoulder.
It's a sprained AC joint. It's not supposed to be very serious.
No, but it hurts. I did it to myself. Yeah. It feels like your shoulder's raised up and you've got a bone here that sticks up. It's not a bone, it's your tendon. It's really inflamed. It's not nice. It's very hard to do anything kind of that way. People are watching on YouTube. This is peak technical TV. But yeah, Jordan Mason, Kittle had to go to the locker room. Apparently, he just needed the toilet, but you never know. Could needed fluids. Debo had a weird moment where it looked like he was in agony, but then the next play he was back in. We lost Banks. Again, I can't remember whether he came back or not, but that calf clearly is bothering him. Mustafa with the ankle, and I'm sure Wright with the entire body / shoulder pain. That's again, injuries are piling up and piling up and piling up, and we're already pretty thin at certain position like safety, like linebackers. I would be very surprised if we don't make any move sort of from now to the trade deadline, which it's the week after our bye, right? Or is it the week of the bye? It's there or thereabouts.
I think it's the week of the bye.
The week of the bye. So I would be very surprised if we don't get somebody in within this 10 days where, we've got a bit of downtime. I'm sure this is perfect for Lynch and Shanahan to put their head together and not think about the team, but think about other team and who they could bring in and how much and etc. etc. But yeah, we're going to need to. I'd like to see personally maybe a veteran safety just as an in case. Definitely a D tackle, maybe even a superstar. I wouldn't mind that, and maybe a linebacker depending where Dre is. Just to plug the gap and get rid of Devondre Campbell.
A good
To swap for somebody.
a good shout there. I do remember at the back end, I think, of pre-season, there was a list of the veteran safeties who are still unsigned, and the people on the list were all pros and pro bowlers, all over that list. I mean, people probably 30 or over. I don't know how many of them have been picked up, but that could be a good shout. There could be some people. Because Simmons got cut by the Broncos,
By the
didn't
Falcons.
he? He has been picked up.
Yeah, he's
I
at the Falcons.
figured he probably would be, but there were some good names on this, so hopefully Lynch can go bargain shopping for someone who wants a wing.
Yeah.
So to go back to what Nadju was saying about the trade deadline, and to go back to this game as well, it was a good win last night, but it wasn't a convincing win of the type that we've seen from this roster.
Yeah,
I don't know about you, but I was obviously we've already talked about the third quarter. I was still left at points thinking we are going to throw this away. We're going to let them come back. We're going to give up too many big players, and this is going against a team that, admittedly, we've all turned around and said were absolutely atrocious. I still can't understand how Seattle's won 3 games. They were very, very poor last night, and yet there was only 12 points difference at the end of the game between these two teams. Now, we've got the two next opponents are the Chiefs and the Cowboys. There is a real possibility we head into that bye week, the trade deadline week, as a 3-5 team. If we're a 3-5 team, is it a case of we bringing players in or we shipping players out?
Players in. I think we're not going to throw this season away, even at 3-5, and we've been 3-5 before and made a championship game.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I think
so I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah. Plus,
it's a good.
You really think we're going to lose
and
to Dallas? Well, better not speak too soon. But
I didn't think we were going to lose to the Cardinals or the Rams.
True.
And it happened.
We could absolutely lose to anyone at this point. And again, I said this during the preview. I do think our roster isn't quite as glamorous and talented as it appears to be, and as we used to. Again, we just spent a good portion of this show talking about rookies making an impact. So this is the situation we're in, where we have to have rookies playing really well for our defense to show that it's pretty good. I think the offense is fine.
It should be with the money and the skill players.
Yeah, but in terms of depth, because it's not just the starting 11. Because the starting 11 on defense, I have no problem with, even with Ronaldo Green in there. The problem is the depth. We know that to get to the Super Bowl, you need these players that all of a sudden have a good game, like Kevin Givens, like those kind of guys that can just elevate when your starters aren't having such a good day and can come in and impact. On offense, we got JJ, and we've got Mason, which we know can have a good game, and we got Kittle and Ayuk and Debo and CMC when he comes back. There's so many. One of those is going to have a good game on any given Sunday. On defense at the moment, apart from Fred and Bosa, who's picking up the slack if those two aren't having a good game? So I think that's where we should look at. And the problem is the injury kind of dampen you into doing this, because then you have people on the field that aren't supposed to be on the field, and they're tired by the time the third quarter kicks, which is one of the reasons I think Seattle kind of came back into it. That long drive that they had when they scored that touchdown on 4th down, Tyler Lockett, no one could run at the end of that. It was horrible. I think I would have been faster than pretty much any one of them. They were knackered. You could tell. They struggled to line up, barely in a 2-point stance. Never mind 3. So this is where I'm getting at with the trade deadline. I think we're definitely going to have to bring somebody in. There's no way Kyle and
so again, just to play devil's advocate,
throw the towel. Yeah, don't go for it.
We do have some players who obviously would be a big boost if they came back. John Feliciano. So we've still got him to come back. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, I thought he'd be back by now. I thought it was just a precautionary measure, stick him on IR, so we didn't lose him. And I thought
he'd have been last week. Do we know? Is his practice window open?
I'm not entirely sure. Yes. Sorry. I don't know if his practice window is open. He's eligible to have it opened.
Right.
Well,
But he hasn't been opened
But
yet.
we haven't opened it yet.
Isn't there a thing you can only bring a couple of players back from an IR?
I believe it's 8. It's 8 in total during the full
8
season, and you get an
IR
extra
training
2,
season.
and you get an extra
Long
2
term.
in the post-season.
So I do wonder
Oh,
if
that's
there's
right.
thinking, look, we don't need him now. Let's
Yes,
leave him
that's exactly what I thought.
unactivated because we might, with other
Because
people going on to
That's
IR.
right. We do have a few that could potentially come back. So Feliciano, Gross Matos, Hafanga,
Oh, yeah.
obviously Christian
What about
McCaffrey.
you, sir?
Ambry Thomas, I can't remember what he went on for. Did he break his wrist?
Something
Oh, I
like
can't
that.
remember. That was pre-season, wasn't it?
No, I think he played in the first game. Didn't he?
Google.
No.
Or first game, was it?
I think he might have broke his wrist. We've also got Ricky Purcell, but he's not on IR, so he doesn't count against bringing people back. And then we've got 2 people on PUP as well. We've got Drake Jackson and Drake Raynor.
I think Jackson's for sure not coming back, but
Yeah, no, he's not. That's season ending. He had surgery. Ambry
of
Thomas,
course he did.
It says forearm, so I think he broke his arm.
I think he did. I think Ambry Thomas
Yeah,
broke his arm, and they said he was going to be 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, sounds very good. So that's soon. That's
Yeah. So
maybe
we do
that's-
have players to come back there, but I get your point, Najee. Definitely defensive tackle for me.
Yeah, tackle. Yeah, defensive tackle for
And
sure.
it needs to be a home run hitter.
100%. I wonder if I don't know. Just trying to wrangle in my head who might be available.
Hassan Reddick.
I was
Right.
expecting
Hassan
the
Reddick
name
is
Buckner to come out there.
Oh, yeah,
He was on
that'd be
IR.
amazing if-
Oh, is he?
He's
No.
on IR. That's true.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna get him.
Well-
Hassan Reddick is an outside rusher. I don't want him. He's a diva as well. No thanks.
Yeah, for the rest of the season.
And I don't think Brock likes him.
No.
No thanks.
No.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Fair enough. But
Do you
we
think there'll be a
will
fire
see.
sale at the Jets? Because I mean, the Jets
But
do
Quinn,
have
Quinn,
some.
I was
Yeah,
going to
Quinn
say
and
Quinn
Williams.
and Williams.
Yeah.
Quinn and Williams would be amazing if we could pull that off after the Saturday exit. Maybe he's disgruntled and wants change of scenery.
The Jets
That would be
are
amazing.
ripping it down. I think they're probably going to be in for Devontae Adams. Wonder if that could have been maybe Salah saying no and being disagreed with by the management. But I can't see that. But I could potentially see there's some other teams that have really underachieved, I think, so far this season. So give it another couple of weeks. Well, yeah, us. But we're not.
These guys.
Look
Yeah,
at
we're still in the shout.
Cincinnati at 1-4, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
If they somehow end up 1-5 or 1-6, maybe they think, okay, let's reset this. And
Actually,
of
what's his
course,
name?
it depends which
Herbert?
coaches get fired, because that's probably the thing
Yeah.
that's really going to do it. A new coach
Yeah.
is potentially going to look at, can I stock some draft picks? So
I mean, dare I say, his name is escaping me right now. But
You talking about the
Browns.
defensive end for Bengals?
No, the Browns one. What's his name? Because the Browns are dumpster fire.
Miles Garrett.
Miles Garrett. Why not? Imagine that. Miles Garrett and Nick Bosa.
Isn't he
that
more
would
of
solve
a
the issue.
3-4 defensive end?
He is. But, maybe he can play the tackle.
I think hopefully Lynch can find one of those good value players, like when we picked up Sanders, wasn't it, the wide receiver a few years ago?
Yeah,
and suddenly
true.
made all, it was kind of like, oh yeah, solid, but he suddenly he was that kind of missing piece that season.
That's true.
We've covered the talking points. Score predictions. Some player watch we've already done. Little bit of boldies. I think we've mentioned a few of the boldies. But my DK Metcalf touchdown getting chalked off for a penalty. It wasn't quite what I predicted, but it was in fact
Close
even
enough.
better than what I predicted.
That's true.
So watching that back, going, oh, Metcalf, and then seeing the little yellow flag symbol appear. And just, is it going to be on the offense? Yeah. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that more than DK did. Let's say that.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of a guilty pleasure. There's little hidden joy to watch any kind of Seahawks being disgruntled by their own team and shaking their head. I thought Lockett did it a couple of times as well. It's just, and even Geno Smith at the end swearing at his team, which went live on TV, by the way, which was pretty funny.
Didn't see
Drop
that.
an F-bomb. Yeah, it's just we have to talk about DK because it's just hilarious seeing him getting the call from upstairs to tell him to pipe it down, probably, and him saying that he doesn't need people telling him what to do, and it's just so funny. And then he doesn't do anything the whole game when he's marked by a rookie. It's kind of funny, and I love it. It's kind of like Christmas came early every time this happened. Yeah, he's terrible. He's a bad wide receiver. He wants to be Calvin Johnson, and he's nowhere near. This not even close.
Do you have the score predictions table
I do.
handy?
I do.
One of
I've
you
shared it, but
while you bring it up,
there it is.
the one thing that you haven't mentioned is it was a very pretty game to watch. I love our white throwbacks, and
Yeah.
bit of nostalgia there with the Seahawks throwbacks.
Yeah, that purpley weird color. Yeah,
The game looked good from that
it did. That's
aspect. So good to see. I do like the throwbacks because of showing my age. Basically, that's what it is.
Yeah, I like them.
And they are cool. They are cool.
Yeah,
they are good, especially because the NFL went through a period where teams couldn't do anything with their jersey, and they were just the same every year for like 15 years or something like that. When it was Reebok, they just weren't allowed to do anything fancy. It's nice to sprinkle a little bit. I'm glad they didn't play with that horrible greeny lime color that they have. That would have been weird. But yeah, no, you're right. It was a fun game to watch, definitely, especially after the ending. Anyway, prediction.
I don't know if you realised then, Najee, but I think you went and put a P where our logo used to be. Top left-hand corner.
Top left-hand corner.
You've
Yeah, can you see that?
No.
So top left-hand corner in the Potter Scores prediction spreadsheet, that's where our logo normally sits.
Oh yeah, I did. What happened?
Control Z,
stray
and it'll
keyboard.
take it back.
No, I must have done this a long time ago because it's
Right.
not here. Let's just delete
I'll have
it.
to stick it back in.
Yeah, stick it back in. Apologies, I didn't clearly misclick on here. Anyway, let's talk about the podcast faithful. Still leading the charge with a 7 points. We're gonna have to do something about these people.
Yeah.
I think they might win it otherwise. I think Anthony Folger is back on top with a 10 points. I think he managed to nail the Seahawks score. Unfortunately, I don't think many people predicted they would score over 30, except me and Lee, but yeah, and somebody else. But yeah, so I think Anthony is back on top. I think he's got 28 points total, so pretty much the same as you, Gareth. It might be more. I can't remember. I will double check once if you want to talk about Lee and your prediction for a second. I'll be 2 seconds.
I think I only got the win, so I think you've closed the gap on me. But like last season, I didn't want to run away with it. So much like Kyle, I thought that I'll just let some points go to keep it interesting.
I am very wrong on the amount of points that Anthony's got. He's got 35, so he's absolutely destroying us on a personal basis.
Now might be a good idea to just explain to everybody, whoever wins overall, they buy all the drinks at the next meetup.
Yeah, there is that.
Yeah,
so congratulations, Anthony. You crack on there, buddy.
Congrats, Anthony. And Chris Wood, our very own insider, is very close behind with 33, which is exactly where I should expect him to see with the amount of knowledge he's got about the league. Scott Mason, 33 as well, and Gary Parks, 33.
Is that Scott Manson?
Scott Manson, sorry, yes, that's right. That's your top 3, essentially. Top 2, top 3, depending on how you want to say it.
Right.
But it's all to play for.
How many points have they got at the bottom? Please tell me I'm beating somebody.
There's a few people below us. We're basically, quite high up. If we were in the league in this one, we would be in the top.
I assume
in the top half.
I assume some of those people at the bottom perhaps missed week 1 or week 2, maybe. So.
Yeah, there is that too. I would have to ask Kev about doing maybe kind of, I don't know how we would do it, like a percentage, so something that shows how good you actually were on a weekly basis rather than overall. Yeah, some people definitely missed a few weeks there.
PFF ranking.
A PFF ranking, of the score prediction. Absolutely love people asking about it and getting all worked up about it and talking about it in the game day thread. This is why we did it. This is why we introduced this last year to try and spice up the podcast. Now it's spicing up the group and the Discord and everybody talking about it. It's all good fun. But congratulations to people that managed to score. I think 10 points was the most this week. But I'll take the crown on this podcast this week. I had it. We should have won 35-6. Clearly, the first half was anything to go by, and then we just decided to let Chanel run for a touchdown, which really, really destroyed me and gave them momentum. But I got the 2 points for being within one. 35-36, so close, so very close. But I'll take it. So, people listening, podcast faithful, you're on top with 31. As the median. Gareth still second with 28. I am third with 26. And then Paul and Lee, 21 and 20. Bit more of a gap, but you could easily catch that up in 1 week. All you need is one good score prediction and you should ride up the table. It's not over until it is. But yeah, it's good fun. Next, the Chiefs. That's going to be a tough one to call, I think.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see if there's any dissent. I think there's been very, very few people who've predicted against the Niners win, isn't there? So next week could be interesting. There we are.
I think people at this very moment in time, if you ask people, you might get a 70-30% people saying Niners win, Chiefs win. And then the closer you get to Sunday, people get excited about watching the Niners, and they're like, "Yeah, I can't call against us," and then they just go Niners again. I think that's what happens on this podcast most of the times. So many times I've come on and be like, "We're losing this," and then we talk about it, and we're like, "Nah, we're not losing this. We're winning. Of course we are." But yeah, that's the joy of this league.
Any final points on the game before we wrap things up?
No, great game day thread. I think we got, what did I say, 6 new people that joined on the game day thread. It was very active for an after dark, very early morning session. I can't quite remember. I should have checked how many people were online at one point, but it definitely felt upper 20, lower 20 maybe amount of people.
That's a lot.
Definitely good banter. Yeah, especially for Red Eye. I know we've got a few Americans joining us. But yeah, it was good fun, and we got some good feedback again. People are thanking us for doing game day thread, because especially I think at Red Eye, being by yourself at 2-3 a.m. in a cold room, watching the Niners while your entire family is sleeping or you're by yourself. I think it's kind of why we made those game thread, those specific game, and then it extended to the 9 o'clock and the 6 o'clock ones. But yeah, it's great. And so people thanked us for it. And don't worry, that's not going anywhere ever because it's good fun. So many GIFs, and and it keeps the positivity around. People feed each other. I think it's working really well, and I'm very happy for it. 10-day break, and then we'll get back at it on the Chiefs game.
Anything to add, Lee?
No, nothing.
Good.
Najee's covered it all.
Great stuff.
No PSAs either.
Very active in the
no
Discord.
PSAs, no. It's been great. Thank you for joining me, lads. I can't help feeling something. We've probably forgotten something, though. Something missing? Strange
Now you mentioned it.
Quieter than normal.
It has been. We've been banging on for an hour, but
feels like something's missing. Yes, can't quite put my finger on it though.
Me neither. It can't be that important though. Clearly, since none of us can really spot what it is.
No,
definitely not.
We do miss you, Paul.
We do indeed.
He will be back. The world is not ending.
Yeah, live on Wednesday, I would assume. Probably, maybe meetup, London meetup / Newcastle meetup kind of roundup. Maybe we'll see. The topic
I mean, there's the thing.
Yet.
The next game, there's quite a few meetups.
There is, it's meetup week.
Yeah, there is a few meetups. So maybe we can do a live about that. Wednesday, 8 o'clock, GMT. No, not yet. BST. On YouTube. Go and subscribe. click the notification bell, people, and you'll be notified when it starts.
Yes, there's a little bit of a PSA. I will be unboxing a Jordan Spectre Sports Art card.
Yes.
Patrick Willis card. So it's still in the actual shipment package. So I haven't even opened it up to the point where I can see the box in the cellophane. And I'm going to do the unboxing next Wednesday. But disclaimer, I am the most emotionless person ever likely to meet. So this could be the most amazing card in the world. But don't expect too much of a reaction.
On that subject, I think people are starting receiving theirs more and more. No, Wayne did an unboxing on Facebook. And congratulations, Kev Williams on Discord, Guru. Kev, you got a 1 out of 7, super rare card. I was completely unaware of how the cards were working, but that's pretty special, I think. Yeah. Congrats, mate. That's amazing. I know where you live.
And on that slightly ominous and threatening note, I think we should wrap this up. Thank you, gents. Yes, Paul will be back with us. Friday night we're recording. Paul had other commitments, so we made him wait the whole show because I'm sure he's going to listen to this and wonder what we were going to say about him.
Yeah, absolutely.
He'll have had a face like a slap backside until this point. We do miss you, buddy.
We do indeed.
Yeah. Thank you, gents. And if you are, we've had a load of new members. So if you are catching this for the first time on the podcast, you can watch us on YouTube. And if you're catching this on YouTube, this will also be available as a podcast. And if you want to make sure you don't miss any, don't forget to like and subscribe. We will be back, I think, next Wednesday with the live. So what is better, Victory Mondays or Victory Fridays? Let us know in the comments. It's not always nice to start the week with the Monday, but Friday, a Victory Friday, I think is just nice. Something extra special. So enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the London game, either on the telly or if you're going, and enjoy Sunday Red Zone with a smooth heart rate. Go Niners.
Bananas.
Bang, bang, Nana gang.
We love the San Francisco 49ers deep in the heart. Like Joe Montana in the corner, D. Clark. Garrison Hurst, stiff farm going 99. Don't get it twisted, one and all with prime time. John Taylor, Jerry Rice down the